This is 1680 The Crow, and you're listening to our feature presentation.
Welcome into For the Record. I'm your host, Elijah Ford. TikToks, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts have seen major changes over the past month as OpenAI released the new generation of their AI video generator, Sora. The app, which was launched on October 1st, uses AI technology to create videos up to a minute long using text-based prompts. These videos have become increasingly prevalent on social media, leading many to question its ethicality.
OpenAI has just let us know that they have stopped its app from generating videos that portray Dr. Martin Luther King following requests from his state. The company acknowledged that the video generator had created, quote, disrespectful content about the civil rights icon. OpenAI says that the company believes families should ultimately have control over a person's likeness and how it is used.
The use of AI in content creation has been a heavily debated topic. New generative tools have made it easy for people to make high-quality content faster than ever before, needing little to no technical skills to do so. This has led to concerns from people in the creative space who could see their jobs potentially being replaced by these new AI creations. Some, however, view these AI tools as a way to help augment human creative work, which could lead to improved efficiency and quality. Chris Krug is the executive director of the BC Plus AI Association, a group of BC tech leaders who look to use AI in service of people and the planet. He sees AI as an advancement instead of a revolution, and one that cannot be simply seen as good or bad. With these AI tools like the one you mentioned and Sora, generating high quality video content, how do you kind of see this new technology impacting traditional content creators like filmmakers, animators, general media? You know what I mean?
Yes, it's going to impact content creators significantly, but we must be very careful to not fall into some sort of black and white dichotomy trap or something like that. People want to come up to me sometimes and be like, oh, I heard all artists hate AI or against AI. And that's just not true. These communities are made up of so many different types of people. We have everyone from bury my head in the sand and wish things were different to I'm going to retain these components of my creative process as purely human because I love them, to people who are, experimenting and building with whole new forms of communications, of media, and of art. So I'm seeing all sorts of implications on workflows and pipelines and tools, and even people's kind of conception of the creative process and stuff like that. And so how that plays itself out in terms of the economy and careers and jobs remains to be determined. But I invite you to in your head, think of Olympic Village in downtown Vancouver and the skyline of condos that have been built there in the last 10 years. And a lot of those are like 500 square feet to 1,000 square feet. And they're occupied by people who work in the industry, inside the games industry, the effects industry, animation, a lot of those types of things or whatever. And those jobs didn't exist 30 years ago. So literally, Vancouver's creative digital economy is a whole bunch of jobs that, when I was born didn't exist. And I couldn't have pointed myself in those directions, throughout my schooling and stuff. And so it's a really good time to ask ourselves, what do I want to get out of my education? Where am I going with this? What type of opportunities do I want to create for myself? But I think they assume that it's just going to kill the whole creative arts or media and publishing. I don't think that those industries are any more susceptible than all the other industries across the board, including accountants, legal professionals, software engineers. The people who have, I believe, the biggest change coming the quickest are those for whom their job is a big part of it is finding a right answer, a correct answer, an answer to a math or software development problem or a legal answer. These things, turns out AIs are going to be pretty good at. If there's a right answer, an AI is going to be good at it. And what I guess we could hope as artists and creatives and media makers ourselves is that we will be able to ascertain what part of storytelling truly is human, the emotion, the connectivity, the things that really make those stories resonate with other humans. And we'll be able to hold on to those things while gaining a whole bunch of awesome, powerful capabilities.
Well, absolutely. I love how in depth you went with that. So, from your perspective, then, what to you is the ideal balance between AI assistance and human originality in content creation? Do you kind of see a way for it to coexist?
Well, I mean, I think here's one thing right off the surface, very low hanging fruit. Layering and compositing and bringing together different forms into finished media products is still going to be the realm of a human. And so, like, think of yourself like a DJ that has the world's information and audio and video and all these things at your fingertips. This is really the place that we're moving into, is an orchestration of creative helpers or something like that. And I think that we'll be probably pleasantly surprised at some of the creative forms that emerge. Now, like, don't mistake my optimism about some potential futures for a lack of concern about the trajectory that we're headed in a lot of ways. I mean, these hyper capitalist San Francisco corporations that are dropping all this stuff on us, they're investing hundreds of billions of dollars in infrastructure, and they're doing that because they believe there's trillions and tens of trillions of dollars of value for them to encroach upon and unlock. And when they say that, they mean jobs and careers.
Yes, sir.
So for these big hyperscalers and the big FANG, they call them, Facebook, Apple, and Google, to realize their investments is going to mean significant changes to workforces across the board. And so, I mean, best we can do is prepare ourselves for that in terms of individual resiliency and community resiliency, and really doing some of the deep dive soul searching that maybe we've been able to put off so far around what does it mean to be human? What things do I do that contribute to the economy that I also find enjoyable, that I would do even if the economics of it were different? We're going to have to find meaning and purpose and live happy lives, even when so many things around us change. So that's on us to kind of like roll up our sleeves and figure out the path through this rocky, topsy-turvy time.
Absolutely. I love talking to smart, informed people because they tend to lead me right into what I wanted to ask about next, which is, in this case, you mentioned that it raises questions about what does it mean to be human and our impacts on the economy. What kind of ethical considerations do you think these developers of generative AI should keep in mind when deploying these tools that they can mimic and replicate human artwork? Also, they can generate videos of historic figures. What kind of considerations do you think these people need to make before having these choices?
I am going to interrogate your question for a second before I dive into it. And
Great.
it's like, why did you decide to put the responsibility onto, say, generative AI developers? Is that the place that it goes? Or does it go on to like CEOs who are looking for ways to cut half their workforce by reducing costs by using robots to make generative media or something like that, when they could be keeping that amount of staff, using the surplus revenue generated and the new capabilities unlocked via AI to do completely new, creative, visionary things that the world needs? Like, it doesn't mean necessarily just because we gain efficiencies, we need to reduce headcount or replace humans with robots, or even think of AIs as robot workers. Like, I'm not even necessarily happy with the vocabulary and framing of this kind of thing of robot workers. They're not. They are software automations that are super powerful and highly useful, that you could choose to replace humans with on your team, potentially, if that's the type of organization you were trying to build. And, like, I even question the ethics of this kind of Silicon Valley dream of having the first one person unicorn, the first $1 billion company that only has one employee or something like that. Like, we've built our companies and corporations and institutions in a way to make sure that they distribute the benefits of success equally across those who contributed. And, if AIs are trained all the stolen mankind's, creative and knowledge, and then operated by one person who millions of dollars, it's just like, where's the social good in that? Where's the, how are we're not in this alone, we're in it together, and so we really need to ask ourselves how we can use this time of rapid shift and potentially vast wealth creation to improve the situation for lots of us or all of us.
Absolutely. I'll just finish off with this then. Again, thank you very, very much for your time. As this AI continues to develop in content creation, just overall in society, is there any questions that you think people should be asking more, or an angle to these new developments that people maybe aren't looking at that you think could be prevalent?
I hate to be the unk in the room, but like, look to the past to figure out where we're going in the future, and that can mean a couple of things. One, look at technological innovation and stuff like that. When the first desktop computers were coming out and Print Shop Pro was coming out, they said, oh, this is going to be the death of graphic designers, and there will be no more design because everyone can just do design on their desktop computers at home. But actually what happened was a paradoxical opposite of that. Through the distributing of knowledge of the tools and skills required to do good design, design was elevated sort of to a high art. Like, in the last 20 years, there's been all sorts of documentaries and features and celebrities who are designers. And I believe that this has come because now we all across society understand good design, what it means, how rare it can be, and stuff like that. So, maybe there's some lessons there about how this technology will be distributed amongst content creators and affect the media arts.
This has been For the Record. I'm Elijah Ford for BCIT's The Crow.
Gamers game, but how do gamers connect with other gamers? Discord is an online platform that aims to do just that, connect people together with similar interests. You can voice chat, message, and even stream gameplay. There are servers for just about anything you can think of, from communities that play Dungeons & Dragons together to people forming squads for games like Fortnite. Discord has grown from 25 million users in its first year to 685 million users worldwide currently, according to Statista. Numerous communities have come together because of the connections Discord has fostered. Yumi Chang is one of the people who has found a meaningful connection using Discord. For her, the platform has become more than just a way to play games with her friends. It's become a hub for some of the most important people in her life. Yumi is with us here now. Tell me about your journey using Discord.
Well, Discord for me, I think I started made a Discord account in 2018. And the time that I made it was to play Dead by Daylight, which is like kind of this indie horror game, with a girl that I met in class at UBC, who Selena. But we were in K-pop class together as an elective. And then we were in a group project together, and we found out that we had a common interest in gaming. And so pretty much like we would skip class to play Dead by Daylight at like 9 a.m. for hours. And then sometimes when she went to school, she would play in like solder in the library. And then yeah, that's like where I started using Discord like a lot. And playing the game, it's like a multiplayer game. So there's a killer, and then you play with a team of 3 other survivors, so 4 survivors in total. And there's no like voice proximity. So Selena and I would be in call together, and then but there's like a text box where you can talk to people in the lobby chat. And sometimes that's how you would make friends. And we actually made a really good friend at the time, but we don't talk anymore. But like back in like 2018, 2019, we actually were in a server for Dead by Daylight, and then we would just like go in like one of the calls when other people were in there, and then just like play the game. And then like it got to a point where like we weren't even just in the call to play Dead by Daylight. Like if you just wanted to hang out, you just join call.
And you met your partner on the app, correct? Tell me about that.
Again, this is from Selena. So Selena, like really close, like really fast became one of my best friends. And I got to know her family really well. And she has an older sister named Bella, and Bella and I are really close too. And Bella's game that she played for years, like 10 years, is Final Fantasy 17. And so she also has like a lot of internet friends from a server on Discord playing the game. And
Sorry, 1 second. I think you mean 14.
14, Final Fantasy 14, sorry. And one of the people that was in that server was Anthony. And so they've been friends for like longer than Selena and I have been friends. And then and Selena and I have been friends for 8 years. So I think that they have been friends for like 9 to 10. But Selena and I have a server with our other friends that are mostly like real life friends. And at the time, Bella had invited Anthony, I think this was like 3 or 4 years ago. I think it was 4 years ago, to the server. And then she just invited him to play Fortnite. And she was like, hey, do you want to play Fortnite with my friend Yumi? And then he was like, okay. So we got on call together, us 3. Yeah, and I thought he was really funny. And so then I wanted to play more games with him. And then eventually it became like me and him hanging out sometimes. And then it developed into like more, and then so now we're like pretty much 2 years together. Our 2-year anniversary is on December 1st. So yeah, from gaming, from Fortnite into like a full-blown relationship. And it's like I've gone to see him a couple times in LA, like 2 to 3 times a year. And then this year he's coming to Vancouver for Christmas to meet my family.
Why do you think it's so important for gamers to have something like Discord to connect with each other?
I think that there has always been platforms. Like, we had Skype, we had MSN, and then we had Skype. And then I don't know if there was something between Skype and Discord, but there's always been a want and a need for people all over the world to want to connect with other people. So I think it's very important in that sense, specifically for gamers, because there are a lot of games where like FF14 or like Dead by Daylight, where it's like an online community, but the game doesn't support voice chat. So when you find other people that like the same game that you do or whatever, whether it's in like a server or something, or like you meet someone and you add them as a friend, then you create like a connection there, and it becomes like, and you just like, if you like the game, you play it a lot, and so then you play it with that person a lot, and you can't, it just, I think it's so natural for friendships to develop that way.
And what do you think are some of the disadvantages of a platform that is mostly online with little face-to-face interactions?
I think that online, just like not even on Discord, but anywhere, there's going to be weirdos. And sometimes that's part of the journey. Like sometimes there's so many good things, and then there's a bad thing, and it could be like one bad apple. But yeah, that's what the block function is for. So
And what about any crazy stories that you might have from using Discord?
Oh my gosh. I feel like this is, yes, of course. Like, there are so many crazy stories, like where you become friends with people. And I feel like a lot of times, because it is online and you don't know them and you live so far, you're so far removed from them, actually, even though they are real people on the other side of the screen. You know, a lot of people will say a lot of fucked up shit, and there's like almost like no consequence to it. I've had people that I've been friends with online that I don't know personally. Like, I mean, I know them personally, but I've never met them. And you find out things about them, like maybe that they're a Trumpy, or like maybe that they love saying the N-word and they're not black, like that kind of thing. And then you just like, I don't even know where to begin with my crazy stories. But I think 95% of my friendships that I've made online and on Discord have been like so great, and they're really awesome people. And I've met them too, like not just Anthony, but I've met like other people that I've known on Discord in person, and they're just as lovely as they are online. But one thing is, okay, so actually one of my Discord friends, he like messaged me yesterday, and it was like this really sus GoFundMe link, because Selena has like been hacked twice through Discord. I was like, not even before her, like I don't even know how she got hacked twice. She like clicked links. But then anyways, like even before that, I would never click someone's random ass link. And because it's so the link was a GoFundMe.
Okay.
And then but then I was like, that link looks so weird. So I Googled it, and the GoFundMe link is like different. So I said to him, I was like, are you hacked? And then he was like, no, like I posted this on Instagram too. And then I was like, huh. So I went to his Instagram, and he did post it. And then, oh my God, it was his dad passed away. It was just the shortened URL version of the GoFundMe link.
How do you think using Discord has changed your life?
Yes, because well, obviously the obvious person is Anthony. Like, without Discord, without any of that, I would not have met like the love of my life. And we have like real plans to like live together, and he plans to move here. So without all of that, I would not have Anthony. But like on a level of like friendship, I have so many friends that I've known. Like, I have internet friends that I've met when I was in elementary. Like that that I didn't meet them. Like, I met them online in elementary. And actually one of them was like from Tumblr, and then I met her when I went to LA 10 years ago. And yeah, it's just like, and we still talk. And one of my other friends, she's more Tumblr friend, but we do have each other on Discord. When she got married during COVID, she invited me virtually. So I attended her wedding via stream. And I actually cried. Like, it was beautiful. And I was just watching from a webcam. Like, yeah, it's these types of relationships are like far away, but also so real.
This was For the Record, and a look at how Discord changed one user's life. Keone Mo for BCIT's The Crow.